radio station, and the service it provides, are placed under the authority of the master, skipper, or the person responsible for the safety of the vessel. The first priority is distress calls, messages, and traffic. These are broadcast to all stations on distress channels. The second priority is urgency calls, messages, and traffic. Urgency messages may be broadcast to all stations, or transmitted to an individual station on channels allocated for distress communications. Urgency messages may be broadcast on a working channel if the message is of an urgent medical request or repetition of an overdue vessel report. Safety calls and messages may be broadcast to all stations or transmitted to an individual station. The safety message will always be transmitted on a working channel. An acknowledgement is not expected for a safety broadcast. General or routine communications will always be transmitted to an individual station on a working channel. Before transmitting, the operator should listen for a period long enough to be satisfied that harmful interference will not be caused to communications already in place. Marine VHF channels established for calling purposes are not to be used for the exchange of routine messages. When using radio telephony channels in the VHF marine band and communications are good, the initial call may be simplified as follows: the name of the station being called, once only, followed by the words, "This is," once, and the name of the station calling, twice. Then state the purpose of the call and the suggested working channel for the exchange of messages, followed by the word "over." Over is the invitation to reply. A routine ship-to-shore initial call on channel 16 will sound as follows.
Point Lisa's Port Control. This is Harold Laborde, Charlie 6 Bravo Charlie, on channel 16. Position report, suggest channel 73, over.
An example of how the shore station replies on channel 16 will sound like this.
Harold Laborde. This is Point Lisa's Port Control, Point Lisa's Port Control. Changing to channel 73, over.
At this point, both stations change to the suggested working VHF channel and the vessel initiates the call again. Transmission without station identification is forbidden. Once contact has been established, station identification may be shortened to just the station name. A routine ship-to-shore initial call on a working channel will sound as follows.
Point Lisa's Port Control. This is Harold Laborde, Charlie 6 Bravo Charlie. On channel 73. How do you read me? Over.
An example of how the shore station replies on a working channel will sound like this.
This is Point Lisa's Port Control. Reading you loud and clear. Go ahead with your position report. Over.
The ship then sends its message as in the following example.
This is Harold Laborde. Position report, Harold Laborde. Charlie 6 Bravo Charlie. Anchored in position 10 degrees 22 minutes north, 061 degrees 31 minutes west. No further traffic. Over.
The shore station acknowledges receipt of the ship's message in the following example. Notice how he says out at the end to end the communication.
This is Point Lisa's Port Control. Your position report received. No traffic for your vessel, returning to channel 16 and standing by. Point Lisa's Port Control. Out.
The safety signal consists of the word Securite, pronounced Security, and indicates that the caller is about to broadcast a message concerning an important navigational or weather warning. It is priority over all other messages except distress or urgency messages. The safety warning is announced on the distress, urgency, or safety channel, channel 16, with the safety message being broadcast on a working channel. An acknowledgement is not required. A safety message will sound like the following.
Sécurité, sécurité, sécurité. All stations, all stations, all stations. This is North Post Radio. Navigational warning on channel 67.
The urgency signal consists of the words pan pan, and indicates that the caller has an urgent message to transmit concerning the safety of the vessel, aircraft or person. It has priority over all other communications except distress. The urgency signal may be used to precede a message concerning a man overboard where urgent assistance is required to locate that person. The urgency message may only be sent on the authority of the master, skipper, or person responsible for the safety of the vessel. The urgency message may be broadcast to all stations on the distress, urgency, or safety channel, channel 16, or to an individual station on a working channel after the announcement on channel 16. An urgency call will sound like the following.
Pan pan, pan pan, pan pan. Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. This is Harold Law Board. Request urgent medical assistance, crew member has broken his leg, suggest change to channel 67. Over.
The distress call and message is broadcast to all stations, in the simplex mode of transmission. The radio telephony distress call consists of the distress signal, Mayday, spoken 3 times, then the words "this is," and the name of the vessel in distress, spoken 3 times. The radio telephony distress message consists of the distress signal, Mayday, and the name of the vessel in distress. Its position, the nature of the distress, the kind of assistance desired, any other information which may facilitate rescue, followed by the word over, the invitation to respond. A distress call and message will sound like this.
Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Balizay, Balizay, Balizay. Mayday, Balizay. My position is 20 miles east of danger point. We are sinking fast. We hit something in the water. Black hull, white topside. 4 people on board. Over.
When experiencing difficulties with the exchange of radio communications, for example with language or accent difficulties, it may be necessary to exchange communications by the use of the phonetic alphabet, especially during distress communications situations.